To get this one started, the setting is around Christmas time, and Ashley, a high school senior, is driving to a family's house where she will be babysitting their 12-year-old son while his parents go out for a date night. For reasons not explained entirely, apparently a 12-year-old boy still needs a babysitter, but I digress. His name is Luke, and he is pretty much in love with her, so he has no issues with still being babysat by his crush. Jump over to Luke, who is hanging out with his best friend Garrett in Luke's bedroom, and Luke is telling Garrett all the moves he has planned for Ashley because he is confident he will be able to get her to fall in love with him tonight. He's going to try and make the night all romantic and thinks she won't be able to resist his 12-year-old charisma. Ashley then arrives to the house and meets with Luke's parents, so they give her the rundown and rules for Luke to follow while they're gone. His mom tells Ashley about a trick they do with a pencil where they put it on his doorknob to make sure that he isn't sneaking out, and after 10 p.m. he must go to bed, and he will be grounded if they find out his pencil was tampered with and not on the knob outside of his room. Talk about some strict parents. Luke's parents head out to their date, and they make Garrett go home, so it is just Luke and Ashley now in the house, and he is planning all the moves he's going to pull in his head. He gets very irritated when Ashley is talking to her boyfriend Ricky on the phone, and we can tell he just wants her attention all to himself. He starts chugging wine, and Ashley makes him stop because he's obviously not of legal drinking age. The two end up sitting on the couch watching a horror movie, and Luke tells Ashley that she deserves better than Ricky, and she tells him he is just drunk. The doorbell then rings, and it is a pizza man, but Ashley is confused because she never ordered a pizza, but Luke tells her it probably was just his dad getting them dinner for the night. The two sit back down on the couch, and once they get comfortable, Luke tries kissing Ashley, and she pushes him off and tells him to not even think about it. The phone then rings, and whenever Ashley answers, it is someone saying they are watching the house. Turns out it was just Garrett pulling a prank on them, but then they hear something break upstairs, so they start freaking out, and when they check the phones and internet, everything has been disconnected, and her vehicle tires have been slashed. Garrett tries running away, but he trips on a wire trap, and it seems to be that he's dead. Ashley and Luke then run upstairs to get away, and up there they see someone dressed in all black walking around with a gun and a flashlight, so they sneak into the laundry room before the intruder can see them. Luke then tells Ashley to stay put, and he's going to get his dad's gun that is in their bedroom for their protection. He comes back, and then the killer walks into the same room they are in, and Ashley notices that the person is wearing Garrett's shoes, and she sniffs out the truth. The assailant was Garrett, and this was all part of their plan to make Luke look like a hero to her. Ashley rips into Luke and tells him how much of an insecure little asshole he is, which makes Luke really mad. So out of nowhere, he smacks her across the face, knocking her out, and then when she wakes up, she is duct taped to a kitchen chair. Luke then threatens her with a gun, and he says if she screams when he rips the tape off, he won't hesitate to shoot her. Luke tells them they want to play Truth or Dare, and if she doesn't play, he has a bottle of roofies and will drug her if needed. Garrett then asks Luke, Truth or Dare, and when he says dare, Garrett dares Luke to feel up Ashley, and he does it without hesitation, which is super uncomfortable. Ashley yells at him to leave her alone, and then Luke starts waving the gun around even more, which upsets Garrett because he doesn't want to be a part of this anymore and wants to go home. Luke convinces him to stay if he gives him a painkiller to calm him down. Luke tells Ashley to drink the bottle of wine with the roofies inside of it, and when he holds the bottle up to her mouth, she pushes it out of his hand and the bottle breaks on the floor. Immediately after this, the doorbell rings and Ashley starts screaming for help before Luke can get the duct tape back on her mouth. Luke goes to see who rang the doorbell, and it's actually Ashley's boyfriend Ricky that has been stalking her all night because they're having a fight and he wants to make up with her and give her some flowers. So Ashley just has a bunch of weird stalker boys in her life right now, I guess. Luke tells him he can't come in, but then he forces himself into the house to find and talk to her. Ricky starts running all around the house looking for Ashley, but she is tied up in the dining room, and he goes upstairs to look some more, and once he gets up there, Luke knocks him across the head with a baseball bat, but it wasn't enough, and they get into another fight, and Garrett has to come save the day by pointing the shotgun at Ricky. Luke then uses the baseball bat once again to legitimately knock out Ricky this time, and ties him up right next to his girlfriend Ashley. Garrett is freaking out because he now knows they're definitely going to jail, or at least juvie, but Luke tells him that he has a plan and not to worry. Luke then grabs Ashley's phone, and he orders Ashley to call her other ex-boyfriend and invite him to the house so they can all be together. She won't do it, so Luke just calls Jeremy himself and tells him to come over because Ashley needs his help, and he says okay, and will be there soon. As Luke is doing his villain speech, Ashley is working to free herself from the chair, and she is successful in freeing one hand and one leg from the duct tape, but still is pretty constricted. Luke pulls Ricky's chair over by the front door, and then he runs upstairs so he can pull a Home Alone stunt and hit Ricky's head with a paint bucket from the second story. He misses him the first time, but the second time he hits him square in the head and Ricky dies immediately. Ashley breaks free from the chair and grabs a gun, but when she runs to shoot him, there are no bullets in the gun, so she runs into the backyard to try and get away. She is almost out of the yard until she trips over a wire that Luke had put there earlier just in case she were to escape. Luke ties her back up, and this time instead of just tying her hands and feet, he ties her whole body to the chair with duct tape and Christmas lights. Garrett wants to leave so badly, but Luke won't let him, and he says he will turn him in for all of this if Garrett leaves. Luke tells him they are going to frame Jeremy for everything and roofie Ashley so she doesn't remember anything that happened. Jeremy then arrives to the house and walks around to the backyard door and starts knocking on the windows so she will let him in. Luke then shows up behind him and tells Jeremy to have a seat, that he wants to have a talk with him, but he says he is just there to see Ashley and that's it. Luke tells Jeremy to write down how much he loves her on a tablet, and Luke plans on using that note as a confession for the night so he can frame him for everything. Garrett is inside with Ashley, and Ashley convinces Garrett to take the tape off of her mouth, and Ashley does her best to convince Garrett he can still get out of this whole thing and not go away for the rest of his life, like Luke is going to do. Meanwhile, in the backyard, Luke uses the lawnmower to pull Jeremy up above the tree with a rope looking like he took his own life, and on the ground is a tablet telling Ashley how much he loves her and wants to be with her. Luke goes back inside, and when he sees Garrett and Ashley talking, he grabs the shotgun and shoots Garrett dead. This kid is ruthless. Luke breaks down for a second, but then he composes himself and acts like nothing is wrong and that he didn't just kill his best friend. He then sits down next to Ashley and puts his head on her shoulder to feel comforted by her. Ashley acts like she is asleep and is purposely ignoring him, so he decides to stab her in the back with a pocket knife to show her that she can't ignore him even if she wanted to. We then get a huge montage of Luke going around the house, cleaning everything up and staging the scene to look like Jeremy did all of the horrific things that took place and act like he was just sleeping the whole time. He knows he will be busted if the pencil isn't sitting perfect on his doorknob, so he places the pencil perfectly and then has to run outside on his roof to sneak back into his bedroom before his parents get home. His parents arrive home right as he is sneaking back into his room, and he is able to get inside and under the blankets, and the next thing he hears is his mom screaming at the top of her lungs in fear of what she just walked into. A horrific murder scene had taken place, so they called the cops and ambulances, and as they are wheeling Ashley out on a stretcher, Luke thinks Ashley died from the knife stab in her back, but he looks outside of his window and he sees Ashley is still alive and is being stretchered into the ambulance, and he knows he is toast now. She flips him off, so he knows he's not going to get away with this after all. And that is how the movie ends. Thanks for watching.